There is still a great mystery in the depths of the ocean as hopes diminish for the 5 wealthy tourists of the Titanic who disappeared while exploring the wreckage aboard a mini-submarine. One question continues to arise: what happened? Perhaps we will never know because the submarine called Tita suddenly stopped communicating hundreds of miles off the coast of Canada, at a depth of about 13,000 feet near the Titanic. On board were a British billionaire, one of the richest men in Pakistan, his son, a famous explorer from France, and the CEO of the company responsible for the expedition. They began their journey early on Sunday with 96 hours of oxygen inside the submarine. Since then, contact has been lost. Exploration experts agree that 5 possible accidents are the most likely cause. The clearest explanation is that the submarine may have become entangled in the wreckage of the Titanic itself. The ship split into 2 parts when it sank in 1912, and these parts are scattered in a large heap of debris on the seabed. Navigating through this wreckage is extremely dangerous, according to people who have dived there. It is possible that the submarine pilot may have become disoriented, perhaps after communications ceased, causing the submarine to become trapped. Another explorer described how a strong current on the seabed pulled his submarine into the wreckage, temporarily trapping it. The Tita has weights that can be released into the sea to give it more buoyancy, possibly freeing it and helping it rise to the surface. However, if it is trapped, for example, inside the Titanic, the crew may have to wait for help without much that can be done. A knocking sound detected by sonar could be the trapped crew banging on the submarine's hull to call for help, but rescuers have not yet been able to locate the vessel. The Tita may have also encountered a power failure or equipment problem. The submarine relies on batteries to maintain communications, and a failure could explain why it lost contact with the surface. However, the batteries are also responsible for the motors, lights, and heating. If a complete failure occurred, the submarine would be motionless in the water, in darkness, and at very low temperatures. In this case, experts say the cold could be more lethal than the lack of oxygen. Doubts have arisen about the quality of the submarine after a passenger cancelled their trip due to concerns that the company responsible for its construction was cutting costs. They discovered that scaffolding poles were being used as weights, and a video game controller was being used to steer the submarine. Afterward, they requested a refund. A maritime engineering organization also wrote a letter in 2018 criticizing the company's experimental approach and the submarine's safety and structure. If the submarine loses power, it will be more difficult to locate it, and there is also the question of how to bring it back to the surface if the motors are not functioning. It may be possible to ascend, but there is still no sign of the submarine. Alistair Gregg, a professor of marine engineering at University College London, said that rescue options would be very limited if the submarine is without power. Another possibility is that the submarine became entangled in an object, such as a fishing net. There are many abandoned nets in the ocean, known as ghost nets, as fishermen have lost them. In 2005, a Russian submarine called AS-208 became trapped in one of these nets while submerged off the eastern coast of the Siberian Peninsula. The net entangled satellites and caused the submarine to sink to the seafloor. It took a British underwater drone to cut the net and free the submarine, and all 7 crew members reached the surface safely 2 days later. However, they were trapped at a depth of only a few hundred feet, compared to the 13,000 feet of the Tita. To free the submarine, rescuers would first need to find it, but sonar is not effective in distinguishing the submarine from the scattered wreckage of the Titanic. Even if the submarine is freed, the Tita would still have to return to the surface on its own, as transferring the crew to another vessel at that depth is impossible. After the submarine suddenly stopped